Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, we're about to do some 4v4 Black Forest between me and the viewers. We're going to be randoming civs, and this is going to be a mixed rated match, so the players in here are of a varying level of skill. Now, normally for these, mixed rated matches where I try to include the vast majority of my audience, which are players, below the 1800 rating, usually we do a 3v5 for this style of thing, but the purpose of doing a 3v5 in the first place is just to ensure that the teams are balanced, and in this case I think that the best way to balance these teams would be with a 4v4, because Jim Bob wanted to be in my team, and his rating is... it's a little low. Really, Aztecs again. Okay. Hope you guys like Aztecs, because we're meso-civs for this entire week. Yeah, no one plays Black Forest with normal visibility. So I'm going to be talking a lot about Black Forest strategy and whatnot. It's been a while. Black Forest is my home map. It's the map that I'm the best at. Most of my rated matches come from Black Forest and Arena, which are the two maps that I prefer. Definitely, I am a more slower, macro-oriented player. I know that some of you guys aren't a huge fan of the Black Forest map. Some of you guys don't like watching it or playing it. That's fine, that's fine. But, hopefully if I'm doing my job, it should turn out to produce some very entertaining Imperial Age wars. And I should have a lot of interesting strategy to talk about, because I do think that BF is a very, very complex and fun map. Now, I hope you guys do have your res lag emotes ready. I saw a bunch of those a minute ago, because it looks like this is we're gonna be in it for a fun, long, laggy game, boys. So hope you're ready. I think Black Forest is a very, very interesting map, and I think it would be very good from a 1v1 standpoint if the map was a little more balanced. Because sometimes all the relics spawn on like one player's side in a 1v1, and that's unfortunate. I would kind of like to see a balanced Black Forest 1v1 map where perhaps we have like 3 relics per player rather than just, all of them spawning on one dude's side, or one guy getting 5 extra boars and the other guy not getting any. Black Forest is... what I like more about Black Forest, I guess, is I think that the late-game Imperial Age wars are a little bit more fun, and that the power of one teammate... you hold a little bit more power in something like Black Forest. You can, build up to the late game, and if you play really well, you can really, really make up for the rest of your team. Because if you're on, like, Arabia or something like that, you can't rush 3 dudes at the same time. It's not really possible the way it works out, so... that's what I like about Arabia. However, of course, there are some civs that do excel on Black Forest, just like they do on all maps. The Koreans come to mind as a really obnoxious civ, so we're going to do our mandatory Korean check. Looks like we're good to go. We are playing on the Forgotten expansion pack to Aoe2, which is good because that means the Mongols are no longer disgustingly broken. Mass Mangadai, very, very good. Aoe2 might be one of the best RTS games ever made, if not the best, and it might be easily one of the more fun ones, but it does suffer from some balance issues. Korean's very, very good. Siege Onagers in general, very, very good on this map. It's mostly because in the super late game, Aoe2 it tends to run a little bit slower, so Onagers definitely a little stronger when you can't micro. They're also really good in these tight, compact, situations. What I like about Black Forest is I think there's a very good amount of strategy to your unit choice that doesn't often come on maps like Arabia. And usually on Arabia you don't have to pay too much attention to what units you're going to build, because a lot of your games will just end in the Castle Age and whatnot. You can just end them by like spamming knights, spamming archers in the feudal age, to a degree. In the higher rated matches, of course, and in tournament games, you will see a bit more variety, but you don't get to see that level of late game army composition in depth. Usually. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It also happens to come from, a team game standpoint here where you have access to gold, and I think making the right units is very important. I think the biggest mistake that I see on Black Forest, well, for starters, some people just don't build up any semblance of an economy. You want to have about half the max pop of the game to be villagers, right? So, this is a 300 pop game, so I think 300 pop is mucho, mucho fun. So we're gonna want, about 150 villagers, and we're gonna want to get there as fast as possible. Thank you, Astute Aardvark, for the lag. We're gonna want to get to the maximum number of villagers that we need pretty quickly, right? So we're gonna want our town center always creating villagers, researching a tech, advancing to the next stage, doing something. No idle time, guys. That's the idea. So make a lot of town centers when you hit the Castle Age. That is the idea. So besides people having like a really crappy economy, which I see it as a symptom of all Aoe2 maps with the newer players, is they just don't make enough villagers. or they're just not watching their town center and they're just letting it go idle. It's much better to, you know, make villagers and just forget to assign them on things or throw them on the wrong resources rather than just not have them. So I guess that should be the priority. The other mistake I think people make is that they don't choose the right units at the start. What you want to do is you want to pick the units that are strong for your civilization at first, and then build units that cover their weaknesses. So, I'm the Aztecs, right? I excel in infantry, so I'll probably make some sort of combination of like skirmishers, pikemen, onagers, some sort of trash and siege combination. Except that's just my player preference. It's a good army comp because the counters are covered here, right? Cavalry is really good against skirmishers and my onagers, which are covered by my pikemen. Pikemen very, very weak to archers, and onagers, which my onagers are good against. Onagers are good against onagers, right? And skirmishers good against archers. So that's an example. You can definitely like mass paladins or whatever. Just make sure that you've got something to back them up, something that can deal with the, you know, mass halberdiers that you can expect. So you want to throw in maybe some hand cannoneers or something like that. So yeah, start with something your civ is good with, and then like, you know, throw in something that covers its weaknesses if you can. Then after that, what you want to do is just adjust your units to make counters to what the enemy's building. They're amassing war elephants, maybe throw in some monks and a ton of helms. Halberdiers. So let's see. There's a Wetwoods random map script on the Steam Workshop. I'll give that a look. My favorite Meso-civilization, Zero Talents? It's either the Aztecs or the Incas. Part of me really likes the Incas for no good reason whatsoever. I think they're really, really weird, and they don't really function too well as a civ. It's like the developers just picked a bunch of really cool civ bonuses, and they threw them together without any regard for synergy. But they can rush. They can tower rush. The Incas are very odd. I enjoy them, I don't know. I like that sort of late-game Imperial Age warfare, right, with the sort of deathball style, and I think that they definitely have a very, very scary one with the combination of Kameyuks. Their unique unit is a spearman that's like super good, and slingers, which are like hand cannoneers for poor people. You know, throwing some trash and siege, pretty good. It's pretty good. So will there be lots of Jaguar warriors in this game, or are you wasting your time? I'll try and make some Jags, man. Let's see. They got Mongols, Spanish, Britons, Goths. They got Goths. So if I can find where Nob is, I can make some Jags. Now, when you're doing a 1v1 Black Forest, you really want to wall up in the early game, like ASAP. No dilly-dallying in that regard. I would say maybe, you know, wall up in the first 5 minutes of the game. Not at the start, obviously, because you need to, you know, start making some vills and crap, but it's something that you should really be on the top of your to-do list. That is a lot of wolves. Shit. I don't know if I'll be able to clear these, maybe. I really want to get that wall up. If you're doing a team game, you want to start walling up as soon as you click up to the feudal age. I'm going to bring my scout with me to try and get some of that walling action. Hello, Mem. Welcome back. I did go up to 27. And that is the most standard, yeah. Because we're going for fast castle age here. Why? Well, because going for like a feudal age rush, while viable on Black Forest, depends entirely on the map generation. You want to, you know, look at your map when you pick a strategy and choose accordingly. And in this case, you know, it makes sense that I'm going for fast castle age because Black Forest is a map that's relatively easy to wall, and most early game units just cannot get through walls.
Yes.
Ah, so many wolves. So many wolves, so many wolves. So yeah, we go for fast castle age. Usually you'll see people go for a booming strategy here, which means that, you know, they'll try and get their fully sized economy all maxed out before they start making a military. So you'll wall up, you'll build a, you know, layer of palisade walls at a choke point. You don't want to wall your teammates off from you. I see that all the time. So you build like a palisade wall at the choke point, and then you'll put a stone wall behind it, get to the castle age really quickly, put down a shitload of town centers as soon as you get to the... I'm gonna need more lumberjacks. Put down a ton of, you know, town centers when you hit the castle age, get out a ton of villagers, get to the Imperial age relatively quickly, and then you're good to go. Now, it seems like I miscalculated how much wood I actually needed because I put down that palisade wall, which was not something I considered in my original build order. It's been a little while since I played Black Forest, but should be set for a decent castle age time. Although I'm gonna need slightly more gold than what I have. Well, I should be able to get just barely enough gold in time, I think. Yeah, should be okay. So you have 10, 9, come on, 10. Not bad. Not the greatest castle age time, honestly a little bit slow, but that's just because I didn't have enough wood originally. But we adapt. These vills, wow, that's unipathing right there. My goodness. My goodness. Okay, next thing on the to-do list, deer's basically dead, is to get 100 wood, so that way I can build another lumber camp. Maybe another house. So Jim Bob is this guy, so I hope he's all walled up. I don't want to have to wall up for him, that's going to slow me down. So as soon as I get, there we go, 100, I'm going to build another lumber camp because I don't want my villas to have to walk too far when they drop their resources off. So I'm going to leave my scout over here so I see them when they come in. Alright, we'll see how this one goes. Gonna get double bit axe now. I should always get that when you're advancing to the castle age. This might not be the fastest castle age time I've had because I delayed it slightly, but you know, you can see what I did. I lingered in the Dark Age a little longer than I normally would. Whoa, it's a scout. I lingered in the Dark Age a little longer than I normally would because I wanted to have more villagers gathering resources while I was advancing to the Feudal Age so I could stockpile more stuff so that when I get to the Feudal Age I should have had just enough resources of each type that I could put down a blacksmith and a market. When those finish, I should be able to just click up to the Castle Age easy sneezy. Looks like Jim Bob has walled up. That's good. That's all he needs to do. We should be a-okay. Thankfully, I kept this villager over here because it looks like Houston, we have a problem. Now, I'm going to put down a TC right here so I can get some stone mining out because I did have to stonewall that. Normally, I like to put 2 TCs down as soon as I advance, but I'm going to have to... I have no choice to stonewall that because he is pressuring that wall with his scout. Don't want to let him in, right? Should finish this this one first. Is he all walled up on all sides? Hope he is. I hope he is. There's a lot of extra boars. I would have loved to have spawned with those. Is he all walled up? Please tell me I'm going to run into a purple wall. Any second now. Okay, he's going to need to wall that. Done another TC. I should probably build it with more vills. I see some people, you know, building their TCs with like 1 or 2 vills. Not so great. Usually want to build it with as many as you can afford to. You know, like I'd say 4 is a good number. I'll get cartography now. You know, during these matches, my attention is divided between playing the game, reading the Twitch chat, and trying to provide a meaningful commentary. So, pardon me if I make some silly mistakes, but it's never the point. But it happens. It happens. Can't manage all this stuff at once. And play perfectly. Now, I do need more stone, because I did have to stonewall this. Gray's a little jerk, so my second TC will be substantially delayed. Not a huge deal, though. Unless I stockpile enough gold magically to just put that one down. Alright, these guys got enough stone yet? Nope. The farm's going. Villager production from every TC. Well, I'd say that 1 vill per building is better, but not when you're building a town center usually. But it really depends if your villagers need something else. If they need to be in a location, gotta do some stuff, that's fine. It's just really, it really sucks to have like, to build a town center with like 1 villager, like when you're trying to boom in Black Forest. It'd be really slow. Oh, putting 1 vill per building is better because they work out more? Agreed, man. Natalie's 100% correct. 100% correct. It's all about that villager exercise. That's why I don't replace any of my lumber camps, guys, because I want my villagers to walk farther so they can, you know, get in shape, because they're so lazy. They're villagers getting high all the time, just clumping up on each other, having orgies. The trade cards, too. I don't know, man. The villagers, they need to get out more, get some fresh air, go to the gym. You know, sometimes I just design a really efficient economy just to... because I'm thinking about the health of my villagers. If by the end, your villagers will all look like Hugh Jackman. Nice. Alright, we're on 3 TCs now. Not the greatest boom. Ideally, I'd have all those TCs down a little bit sooner, but I am trying to chit-chat with you guys. Looks like purple is going to wall that. Fantastic. That's all he needs to do. You know, really, there are a lot of tricks, obviously, to get your castle age timing, you know, all hunky-dory and quick, like mine was. It wasn't the fastest, much faster, but, you know. You know, we look at our Jim Bob fellow here. He just hit the castle age right. There's obviously tricks that he can do to speed that up, but, like, let's say you're slower than Jim Bob. As long as you are constantly producing villagers from your town center, I would say that that should be your #1 priority, and then assigning them efficiently is, like, the #2 priority. Thank you so much for subscribing to my Twitch page, Pew Snuggles. I really appreciate it. Like, seriously, it helps a lot. I spend almost everything. I spent, like, 99% of everything that I've earned from YouTube and Twitch to give back to you guys through doing things like I ordered the 3DS capture card, which unfortunately now is broken, so that I could bring you guys a bunch of really, really fun Pokemon content for a while. I'm going to be bringing that back because, you know, some of you have generously donated, and, you know, if I just save up some money, I should be able to order a 3DS capture card really, really soon, and we're going to do some more Pokemon stuff on the side as extra content, so. I upgraded my PC, a bunch of my recording equipment, so it's really appreciated. It helps me out a lot, so thank you so much, Peace Nuggles. You're a hero! Oh wait, I had another TC. I don't even remember building this one. Get so distracted. Oh, that is eco. Oh. My, Resonance, how many villages do you have? Clam hype. Let's get some of that hand card action a little bit early. Usually you want to wait till you're at 60 pop or something like that, but 50 is okay. That's when it's more efficient than creating bills. For one of my hotkey I'm using, I don't think that hotkeys are, again, they should be like, they're very helpful to reaching that next level of play, but if you're new to the game, I don't think hotkeys are super duper important, but if you want to, you know, memorize the basics, if you had to start with learning a hotkey, first hotkey combo you should learn is H, which jumps to your town centers, and then C, which is the default for creating a villager. It might be different for you for whatever, you know, villager hotkey you're creating. Boom into mass paladins, hand cannons, bombard cannon. You can push with bombard towers if you're rich. They got a full trash line too, so if you're low on cash, no problem. Yeah. Cannon Galleon spam can kind of work out if you have a conveniently positioned lake. So I don't even remember who paused or what we're doing right now. Everyone knows Rez is the resident stoner around here. Pete. Nobody smokes weed in California. No. Spent all of my income on meth. Yeah, I was gonna do this video where I was thinking about it for a while. Yeah, I was gonna do a video where I was gonna ask you guys for donations. And I was gonna have like the puppy dog guys and everything, and I was gonna be like, guys, I normally never ask for donations, but I need some money to fund my crippling cocaine addiction. I mean, to replace my broken 3DS capture card so I can play Pokemon. Should do something like that. Decided against it because you guys are so, you know, so generous that I'll actually be able to replace that capture card, which conveniently broke right before the new games came out. That kind of sucks. I'm looking forward to playing some of that though after the stream today. Oh. Hi. If I do my job, and even if you don't like Pokemon, it should be super fun. I swear, it's gonna be really fun. I get to name all the Pokemon I catch after a viewer in the chat, so it's gonna be crazy. Just please do a montage parody? Maybe. I might do that. I'm not the best at video editing, but maybe. Who knows? Who knows? So, I don't know. Let me know in the video comments below, or the Twitch chat, if you think that what I've told you in this Black Forest game has been helpful to you in some way, because that's the hope. Right now, we're, you know, in the 25-minute range, so we're still just booming, we're making tons of TCs, producing builds from everything, and, you know, when the clock hits nearer to, like, 26 minutes, so starting around about now, we're gonna start thinking about putting down some Castle Age buildings. Why? Because, you know, we're getting closer to that magic time when maybe it's time to advance to the Imperial Age. So you put down a university and a siege workshop. What you build doesn't really matter. If you want some of those relics, whatever floats your boat, you know, Res doesn't judge. Whatever floats your boat. Go with the university and siege workshop, because I'm going to need those buildings for upgrades, and I'm going to want to make some Siege Onagers. It's really good that, you know, our teammates have stone walls. This is nice. Stone wall that probably... Gonna need some stone walls so that, you know, if you're just a much slower player, throw in some extra layers of walls. Stall for time so that, you know, you don't die. It's never worth it to, like, triple layer your walls on something like Arabia, but, you know, here you can probably stall for time a little bit. Yeah, I was probably gonna do a Nuzlocke run of the Pokemon game, yeah. But with, like, some slightly altered rules. That way you guys can see which one of you survives till the very end. When will you die in the replay? It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll post all those on YouTube when as soon as my capture card actually arrives. I'm gonna have to order it after the stream, thanks to a bunch of generous donations. And, you know, for those of you who have donated me in the past, you know, let me know if you've sent me some stuff, and I will put you in that donor hall of fame that's gonna be up on my Twitch page soon. That's my way of saying thank you. Okay. Enough of that mumbo jumbo. So we're getting close to about 30 minutes, which is the goal when we're gonna get to the Imperial Age. Now, if you're new to the game, 30 minutes is pretty fast. Don't worry about it. You know, calm down. You don't need to get to 30-minute imp. Shoot for like 40 minutes if you're new. So what you want is you want a good chunk of your economy ready before you click up to imp. And this is when you want to start pressuring. Is as soon as we go imp, you know, it's time to go ham. Time to do some tons of damage. I'm gonna sell some wood, because even though my economy isn't fully set up at this point, I really want to click up and just get to pressuring. Now, normally, you know, this is a low-rated match. It's not like I need to go super try-hard, but I want to show you guys kind of how you should do it. And even if your economy isn't fully set up, you should click up to imp. Try to, you know, before 35 if you can. Lord knows why Heavy Sack loves clams, but he loves his clams. So I want to, you know, try and click up in around that range. Get to imp. Keep making villas in the meantime until we get to our goal, which remember is, you know, half the max pop of the game. And we're getting a little closer to that. We're getting a little closer. Now I have enough stone for a castle, which is perfect. Start putting that down as well, because we're going to need that for techs. And I know you're thinking, what the hell is this castle placement, right? Like, this is whack. Why not put castle right here? Well, here's the thing. The worst thing ever... have armor. Okay, the worst thing ever is when you have a very immobile army and someone sneaks like an army of paladins into your base and they just kill all your villagers. You basically have two options at this point, and they both suck horribly. Are you going to A, pull your entire army back and stop pressuring the enemy, or B, lose your entire economy and then just not be able to, you know, replace your army? That's how you lose games. So I like to put my castles in a defensive position. Maybe I should get a defensive castles emote. I don't even know what that would look like. So yeah, I always like to put my castles in a defensive position so that way my economy is protected from raids and I don't have to pull off any villagers, any military units to go defend that. My economy defends itself. Pretty nice. So Rook with a very good Imperial Age time. Who's on my team? Good, good. You chose wisely, Rook. So yeah. Pump out those villas, pump out those villas. I like defensive castles. I would put this castle right here, but here's the thing. One, this castle is not going to stop anybody from getting through this wall. It's going to stop them until they hit to the Imperial Age. And then you know what's going to happen? They're just going to treb it down, and I'm going to have wasted all that stone. You do not want to be in a situation like that where, you know, you could just lose a castle for free, that you cannot, like, defend this at all. I can't tell you how many players will put their castle in a god-awful position like this. And it's like, dude, if they're not on the other side of this wall, like right now, like just pushing in with knights or something, you're not going to stop them. And plus, you might as well just put it in your econ. Putting a castle like right here is good, because it's not easily in trebuchet range. You will be able to kill any trebuchets that come at it. And it does allow you to easily reinforce your army. one of the downsides here is that, you know, my castle is so far back that I can't easily reinforce with it. That is a real problem. But I would rather have my guys walk just a little bit further than have them just, you know, have my entire economy be vulnerable to raiding. Because you never know, some players are tricky, they'll do cute things, like they'll cut through the trees with onagers and then they'll try and raid your eco. Rez is smarter and older than that. See you, Pete. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, Rez is old, guys. He's seen some shit. I know what you guys are up to. I know what all the crazy kids are doing these days. So, I know. Can't catch me by surprise that easily. The only way to kill Rez is by doing something really standard, so that I just overthink it and just die. Alright, so I'm gonna make, what a twist. I'm gonna make Trash and Siege. For those of you who are new to my channel, this is what I'm known for, I guess, is Black Forest and Trash and Siege. This is nowhere near my best round of Black Forest at all. I'm not playing this particularly well, I'm playing okay. It's not like I'm doing anything wrong, it's just I'm playing slow, because I'm really trying to read the Twitch chat and help you guys understand Black Forest a little bit better. Because I think that, you know, it's kind of dismissed as, you know, a noob map, because yeah, it is very noob friendly. If you suck at getting rushed and you just want to not die, Black Forest is a great thing to do that. But there's a lot of depth to it. There is. There's a lot of depth to it. I think this map is very hard to play optimally. As long as you ban Koreans. Freaking Koreans, man. Okay, start pressuring. Another trick that you can try... I want to put 2 gates here so my units just don't get stuck, but there's no way to do that. Another trick you can try is, let's say you're slow, or you're playing slow like me because you're multitasking and you're doing too much stuff at once. Bluff. Start attacking a wall with a mangonel. Sure, your opponents might, you know, might have an army and you don't. Or the more likely case is that you don't have an army and neither do they. Which is perfect. Why? Because you're going to force them to start making an army earlier than they think, because they're assuming that you're not crazy and that you're attacking, you know, it's not an empty threat, that you're attacking their walls because you have a scary, scary army. You've got an army of Star Destroyers, and that's what they're going to think. And you get your opponent to overreact, possibly, it's very good. You might even get them to, you know, blow a bunch of stone on 1,800 layers of walls, because, you know, who attacks your walls with no backup? Resonance does. Yeah, I don't really need too much more eco. I also like to put my castles in areas like this so that they protect the trade line, because I think that's important. Trade very, very important in the late game.
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna come and help him. Except there's nowhere for me to really pressure right now, which kind of sucks. Where are my blacksmiths? Attack an enemy now. I agree. Maybe I do need more farmers. There's just no place for me to attack. Like, that's the problem, is I don't see any walls or anything, so it's more like I just have to defend, and I don't have onagers, so I can't do anything cute. I might play some Hearthstone later, we'll see. As soon as my onager upgrade is complete, start doing some pressuring. Kill! You notice I'm making a shitload of the military buildings. Why? Because I gotta produce my army quickly, guys. No dilly-dallying here. As I lose troops, I need to be instantly replacing them. Build a lot of houses. And, you know, we're getting close to that 40-minute mark, which is when you really want to start looking at getting a trade line. Let's build another market. We're gonna just trade with the Rook. I haven't played it in ages. Shit, it's time to go get drunk. Yeah, it's always time. No, Resonance does not condone drinking. Drink responsibly, friends. Oh, I'm gonna get ya. I'm gonna get ya. I'm gonna huff, and I'm gonna puff, and I'm gonna actually chop all those trees down. Playing slow, haven't played Black Forest in 38 years. Not Not that it really matters, because this is a kind of lower rated match. So Russ can afford to be a little more relaxed. Normally I'd have like an army close to this size, maybe 4 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. See you, El Kabong. Oh, I'm chopping in here, buddy. You think you're safe? You're not safe. You think you're safe here? I could just finish chopping this guy. This is so, like, unintuitive, clunky, and annoying due to unit pathing and crap, but... I could just widen this gap without killing my entire army. That would be nice. What the hell? I don't remember. Oh, whatever. These vills want to be over there. That's okay, I guess. Just build some more military buildings over there in case I have to help our good friend Jim Bob, who scores behind probably because they don't have any balls. I'll build some Jaguar warriors for our good buddy Jack. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. He's not hotkeyed? You are not hotkeyed. Bad, bad, bad. Oh, you are not prepared. No one expects the Onagers, man. They're great. Onagers can only cut in the Forgotten expansion to Aoe2 HD, not the, you know, regular The Conquerors. Give me a Paladin. Yes. Yes, I'm gonna have the only unit converted this entire game, yes. Good, good. Okay, more upgrades, more upgrades. Jagsy, so you're listening? I love Jaguar Warriors! Usually not the best unit choice, but they have their merits. Because, you know, they're anti-infantry, very, very weak to ranged units. Because they have, like, no pierce armor. I believe they have literally none. Well, now this is some lag. Looks like Zaruk's dial-up connection is dying. Dying, I tell you. Okay. The 2 blacksmiths, so I get the upgrades twice as fast. Wow, such efficiency. Such efficiency. Make some rams, because we really need to move the, you know, keep the pressure on. I love how the units just like periodically stop. They're like, oh shit. What did Resonance tell me to do? I don't even remember, man. Where am I? What game is this again? Sometimes my units go through this crisis where they're not sure if they're playing the turn-based version of Aoe2 for the Nintendo DS. They're playing the good old regular one we all know and love. But yeah, there actually is a turn-based version of Aoe2 for the Nintendo DS. Bet you didn't know that one. I actually did do a video on that, so feel free to check it out if you're interested to see what the heck that would look like. So yeah, it actually exists, believe it or not. Might make arbs or something, because I got a lot of gold in storage. Normally I like to just exclusively spend my gold on like siege weapons, usually. So that when I'm running out of, like when my opponents start running out of gold, I still have plenty of gold to pressure them. So, yeah, you'll find a lot of players will like mass paladins and just do nothing with them, so. Yeah, that's not usually ideal, not usually ideal. Good night, Syrian Sniper. Thank you for tuning in as always. So, you know, we're gonna always be adjusting our economy basically based on our needs. And right now I can see I'm floating a little bit of wood, so clearly I have too many lumberjacks, and I'm a little low on food, a little lower than I want to be, so maybe I don't have enough farmers. Now, you're probably aware of how trading works in terms of profit, but I'm gonna explain that just a little bit. I threw in another barracks because I noticed he has a lot of cavalry, so I'm gonna have to do something about that, aren't we? Ooh, the Goths are here. That's very, very good. Welcome, Mr. Goths. Welcome to Doom. So yeah, I'm gonna be adjusting my economy to meet my needs. I see a lot of players, you know, they'll be floating like 20k wood in the late game, and what you should do is attribute the extra resources that you don't need to your teammates if you're like pop capped, you've got max population, especially if one of your teammates is not. Always try and keep your resources low, and if you're like filthy rich and you have, you know like a 10k everything, maybe you just have too many villagers, or you're just not spending the resources. You never know. You never know. Yeah, the DS one was okay. They tried. Oh, hello! How you doing? Wow, he never finished building those, did he? He is so fired. Oh my god, guys, he's so fired. Yo, you better have that situation on lockdown, my good friend. Or Rez gonna be sad. See it. Also gonna be building counter units. I see Huskarls here, so you know what that means. Jaguar warriors. It's really hard to transition into trade carts usually, so you'll find that some players will just, you know, go for this short period where they just completely run out of gold. So that's why, by being conservative and just building trash units, I basically build gold units only when I have to. Usually. I hope he's okay. I think we've got this situation on lockdown though, so provided nothing goes horrendously wrong over here, but it looks like it might be. We should be able to hold this, honestly. I mean, look at all these unit production facilities I have. Look at this, I'm just pumping an army out non-stop. Non-stop. Prediction, Rez loses. Oh no. You gotta prove astute. Aardvark, incorrect. I hope. I'm gonna try. I need to widen this gap. Now, bombard cannons are very, very, very good counter to Siege Onagers, one of the most annoying units in existence. So intelligently, my opponents do have that. Oh, I'll also see players making the mistake of just not having, like, siege to back up their units. Like, guys, you gotta... What the hell? What the fuck is that noise? Oh, Saba's just donated me $6. Thank you so much. For some reason, I think I heard that noise like 3 times in a row. That's weird. Maybe it's, I think I just fixed that, though. Maybe there were too many copies of that thing running in the background. Thank you so much for your donation, Saba. It was really appreciated. With your help, Pokemon's on the way, guys. Yeah, you can't just mass, like, just Longbowmen and basically expect success. At the very least, you're gonna have to throw in, you know, some other units of some sort, you know. Probably gonna have to at least throw in some Trebuchets, maybe some Onagers. I gotta make more Jags, otherwise LJags can be real sad. And Jags are pretty good against their mass champions. A well-balanced army comp, I think, is one of the hardest things to learn in Aoe2, and I do have a tutorial on that, so if you go to my Aoe2 tutorials playlist on YouTube, it's the last one that I got at the bottom. So, unit choice, strategies, eco-management, it's like a 1v1 BF. That tutorial is mucho helpful, because it's not very intuitive. I mean, as a kid, all I would do is just, like, mass Longbowmen, right? I think we all did that. I was like, oh, Longbowmen's so OP, or just mass war wagons or something. It's loads of fun. Doesn't work so well in practice, though. Now, how's this side going? This side looks like it's going pretty well. We're making some progress, and we're not losing any ground here, so good job so far, guys. Your score's low, though. Watch your village accounts. Wing Black Forest would be a much better game mode if the frame rate just didn't, you know, tank by the end. I know some surplus gold. Oh yeah, also, the other reason I do this is because I'm clearly able to hold the line in this case. I start transitioning to gold heavier units when I'm pushing or when I need them for counters. Also, you never know, your teammates might need gold too. And I have all this gold stockpile, it's great. Zaruk could use some. Ideally, I'd wait till I have coinage, but... Make more trades cards, though. Yeah, you should throw in some other units that don't cost gold. There's no way he can afford to make, like, Onagers and, like, Mamluks forever, right? Those are so expensive. So expensive. No, perfect. Time to push back in this direction. I will huff and I will puff. I will take your entire army down. I just killed half my guys with a Onager shot. You're all fired. I will take myself down. Okay, so on PopCap right now, I am floating a little bit of stuff. Usually I like to have a couple extra, you know, lumberjacks and farmers so I can sell the excess food and wood for gold. But right now, I have a pretty good economy, honestly. I've got some gold income still, so I probably don't need this many.